Yeah?
Hello. Very nice to meet you.
All right, we have some sound. Great success.
We're light.
How are you guys doing?
I'm very good.
Yeah, it's been such a long time since we've hung out, huh?
It's been a while, dude.
Yeah.
Well, like maybe
Long time.
48 hours.
Close to.
Something like that.
Nice, man. How are you guys? How was the start of the week?
My week was pretty calm. I worked from home office. I didn't do a lot, to be honest. Other than buying 2 kebabs at that cheap kebab place down the road, and then I came
Sweet.
here. So yeah, pretty
I
solid.
mean, €4 kebabs, that's not common anymore,
Yes, no, sir.
Yeah. it's a good deal.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
How about yourself, Chris?
Nothing special. I was at school. I study psychology.
Oh, look at that.
Nerd.
Fancy. Nice, what a distinguished gentleman.
Oh.
Exactly.
Nice, guys. Well, today the idea is to be super casual, just the usual stuff that we
How do you
normally
want to
do.
go full on casual? Yeah.
But I guess the idea is just to talk about the band and how it came to be and all that stuff. So I guess that's a good place to start. I mean, the band started with Chris back in Budapest, and you ended up coming here to Berlin about 2 years ago, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
How was that transition? Why Berlin? Tell us the story.
I have a very good friend in Budapest who is a producer, and like I was doing a separate project, very different genre before that, and I just started to think about if I should try out metal, and I just recognized myself listening to metal almost constantly all the time on my headphones, and then just one day I still remember this moment. I was on the tram and I asked myself this question: I'm listening to metal all the time, maybe should I give it a try? And my answer was yes. And so I went to this friend of mine who's a producer, and we recorded some songs. And I was thinking about doing it in Budapest at first, but in Hungary, if you don't sing in Hungarian, you are in trouble.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's much harder. You reach a much smaller audience. I'm not sure why that is, but it's very important in Hungary. It's much easier if you sing in Hungarian. But for some reason, for this project, I didn't feel like that. I listened to bands from the UK. I listened to bands from America, and so I didn't feel like, just didn't. I think it's if something doesn't come naturally, if the songs come out naturally in English, then what's the fucking point in forcing them to make it Hungarian? Wouldn't make sense. So I knew that I had to do it somewhere else, and I just got an opportunity through a friend. They told me I can basically stay at their place for as long as I want until I find an apartment. So I just took this opportunity, and then that's how I came here. Yeah.
That's cool, man. That's cool. And I mean, it took a little minute for you guys to meet here.
Yeah.
You guys want to run us through how that happened, and especially how that influenced the songwriting and just like the band dynamic.
Yeah. So the way that we met was I quit my band in when was this? This was 22? No, 23.
Yeah, 23.
We met in 23, in October 23, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we met October 23, and I was in a band prior for like 8 years, a band called Semperfield, and I left Semperfield, or the band split up around August in that year. It was about July, August, kind of that area, so in the summer. And after splitting with Semperfield was like my baby. I had a tough time with like getting into the idea of joining another band, because I was not sure if I could even play with other people in a band. It was such a home calling playing with those guys. Shout out to you guys, still love you. And but it just didn't work out anyway. So after I don't know, like 1-2 months without like rehearsal December, I was getting really itchy, and I was like, fuck, I really can't, like, I can't not do this, like it's just part of me, right? And I wanted to take a break because I was kind of frustrated as a musician, songwriting wise. And I was like, okay, I need to get my head out of things. Like, I can't do this genre anymore. I'm going to do some singer-songwriting stuff. And then a friend of mine who was the guitarist, Marcus, at Semperfield, he showed me this app called Vamper. This is not an ad. And that app is basically Tinder for musicians. So you upload a profile, you put in your Instagram, you put in like your references, you can upload videos and photographs and audio files, and you skim through. You have like certain filters as well, and then you can skim through what kind of person are you looking for to found a band. So what I was looking for was people who are looking for someone who can sing and play guitar in like rock, blues, metal, these kind of genres that I'm home to. And that's how I came across this guy. And he was lucky to have his Rebirth EP out already, because that was really what sold me. I mean, he's a sound guy, which I didn't know to that point. So I listened to the music, I heard Standstill, and before the second chorus of Standstill, sorry, not Standstill, By Your Side.
That's like fast forward a little bit.
Fast forward, get back. So By Your Side, first song on the EP Rebirth, and I heard like 40, 50 seconds of that song. I was like, fuck, I want to talk to this guy. So we hooked up, we met at the Kilkenny's pub in Hackische Markt in Berlin, and we had a great chat, and we just instantly clicked, basically. It was just... there's different events in our life that kind of bond us together as people, like as interhumans, and music wise, I think we both condole to doing stuff that just like gets your blood boiling, not thinking too much about who will like this and who will not. It's just like straight up forward, what do we hear in our heads? That's what we do as music. And I don't know, we've always had the same idea of what a band should be and how a band should work and what the dynamics between members should be like. And I think that has affected our songwriting massively as well, because the way that we wrote the first single, Standstill, here, for example, was he brought in the main riff. I had written the chorus in rehearsal before, and then it kind of went from there, and then we kind of mixed and mashed any parts that we would have flying around in our phone. You would just whisper something into your phone while at work, and they'd be like, yo, Chris, check this out, and we like, this could be the chorus for this song. And that's basically how we did it all the time, and then it's been a split effort from there on out, and then the other guys joined, obviously.
Yeah,
exactly. That's cool. Like having people to kind of you can butt heads with, and
totally.
Maybe you have an idea that you can't quite take to the finish line, but then you show your buddy, and they're like, oh, dude, just do this, and you're like, oh fuck, how did I not see that?
Yes,
and then you're back in the race.
We've had a lot of situations like that, and like we both have grown as musicians massively working with each other, because he's got experience in some things that I don't have experience with, or he's more talented in certain things that I'm not as talented in. And there's a song called what's the song called? It used to be called Eye of the Storm.
Now it's called Eye of the Storm.
Now
it used to be called Frontline.
Right, yeah. So it's Frontline, but we call it Frontline, but it's called Eye of the Storm, and we're going to bring it out at some point. And that song, for example, Chris was always a big fan of that song, and I was like, I mean, yeah, it could be one of our songs, but it's like two riffs and a cool singing, and that's about it. And then like I pushed him like 4 or 5 times that like, no, this is still not the best thing that you can put out. I know what you can do. This is not where you want to have this song by yourself. And he was like, yeah, no, it's fine. And I was like, no, go back and do it again. And now we're at a version where we're all really, really happy with this song. And that's been, a give and take from both of us, that we've just, it's very dynamic, and it's never about, I really want this, unless you have like a vision in your head and you're like, hey, can we please just try this before, taking other irritations? So yeah, it's all about what's going to lead the band, what's going to lead the song towards where we want to have it as a band, and not where does my ego tell me to push this, because that's not the sense in being in a band. And I think that's our secret sauce.
Sick. What about the weirdly shaped riffs?
Yeah, that's all him. It's like, yeah, I mean,
where does that come from?
Where does that tuning come from, Chris?
No, I mean, our tuning is basically the standard guitar tuning that you have on any on an acoustic. I wrote the first EP on an acoustic, and I just I love Korn, for example, and I knew that I had to tune lower, so I just took the low E and tuned it down to an A. So it's basically an A then an octave. So it's really low, but the tuning just comes from me sitting at home not understanding how this is done. I just want to make something of metal, so tune it down.
yeah, and that has minorly infected the way that I have to that I've relearned playing metal again, because that tuning, any guitarist watching this, just try the tuning out, put all your strings on standard, just drop the lowest string onto an A, so like the lower octave of the second string basically.
Yeah.
And you're gonna find you can do certain chord shapes that you obviously can't do when you're tuned to standard, right? And it has that beautiful resonance because you're doubling the A. So you can really utilize that.
The open A is insanely big.
It sounds massive, and if you join that together with the standard tuned higher strings that still have that brilliance, you cut through these metal mixes that are very, very bass dominant nowadays, obviously, and you know, you have vocals on the high end, everything's kind of here and there, bass and highs, but there's no room for the mids, where guitar usually sits, but for this music you can't really do much mids in the guitar, so that really does everything for us, that tuning, without me knowing it, and I had to kind of really learn how to play guitar, because it's, you know, it's like, oh, now those strings are the same, so I didn't really have to learn that much, but it just felt so fucking different. And there are these chords where I have to stretch like from fret 5 to fret fucking 10 or something, and then I sing while doing that, and then I press like a pedal, and then Chris is like, yeah, if you could do like a backflip at doing that as well at the same time, that would be fucking great. And that's been a massive effect on the way that I write music, really, because I'm more of like a thrashy guy who has like those like normal drop tunings or like dropped standard tunings. But yeah, that's really massively impacted my playing style and the gear that I use, the sounds that I use nowadays, the way that
it was really fun to watch him take that tuning and write stuff with that tuning, and he came up with shit that I think is like fucking sick. Like the for example, the chorus of Standstill, he really utilizes the octaves. Yeah. Because it's a A then an A. And you can do a lot of like if you tap on that, it's immediately like how do you say, like just the octave that it works really well.
It works beautifully
in a lot of. So I was really enjoying watching him taking that and making it his own, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's been an adjustment for me as well, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But it was like I'd never seen anyone playing with that, and it was really interesting. And what you mentioned is really true, because like East Standard has a very kind of crispy, tight character to it, and then when you go super low, you invariably lose a little bit of definition. With the way you guys are doing things, you have all the lows that you want, but you still have the tightness, which is really
I
cool.
also feel like we kind of maxed it out. Like we have like now 10 songs that we wrote with this one, but now
we're also very fast with writing those songs.
It's also a little bit of little limiting as well, this type of tuning. So
that's quite true, actually, because of course, like some things you can't do with that tuning that you could do with like a standard or a drop tuning, for example. But you know, we could just like drop all the standard tune strings a whole step and then drop the low string to a G, and then
so now we're thinking we're gonna try out some new tunings as well.
7 strings and baritone guitars.
Yeah, that as well.
Well, that's actually one of the topics I want to get into, but we'll circle back to that. Just again in this, I guess we're talking about one of the things that makes you guys unique, right? And if you had to describe the sound of like Bahadur, what would it be? If you had to make a playlist with other bands that kind of you think would be like a match, what are like maybe like 3-4 bands that you think would pair well?
Oh, that's really tough, dude, to be honest.
Tough, yeah.
I mean, for me, a word that describes what I love about the music the most, and I think the character that I'm always trying to look for when I write these songs, is haunting. I like creating music that just like it gets in your head. You know, we use like ping pong effects on the guitar to mess with like your feel of 3D sound and everything. We use like, you know, a lot of different layers to give you a lot of different kind of. We use 808 subs. We've used like whispering, some weird ass. Shout out to Alex for some weird ass fucking effect stuff. And I think that, you know, those big melodies, epicness, and those kind of daunting parts where you feel like someone's creeping up on you in like a dark alley somewhere. That is what for me is the way that I would describe Bahadur. That's what for me is the feeling of this band, of the music. And sound wise, like something similar is kind of tough to do. I mean, we've got these Architects kind of elements, so like the more modern metal things, because we're playing like a 7-string guitar, right? It's not that much different. We're just missing that low E string because we're not using it. So it's pretty much the same thing that a lot of guys are doing. It's just set up differently. And then there's parts, you know, I'm a big fucking Machine Head fan, like really big fucking Machine Head. Machine Head is the band that got me into metal, the same as Guns N' Roses got me into playing guitar at all. And then Machine Head put me onto that pinnacle of like tapping, sweep picking and all that stuff. So for me, there is a lot of Machine Head in the songwriting in there.
I was gonna say that's definitely, it would be in the same playlist.
Yeah, I'm the guy who likes bringing like, you know, like epic guitar parts and like thrash parts into our music, and Chris is the guy who's good on melodies, like just stand still, the main riff, the bow, 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 that's all Chris, and that's the synths, that's all Chris's head. He's got those melodies down, you know, and we kind of mix that, and I don't know. I mean, there's parts of Slipknot in there in the new songs. There's definitely some like System of a Downy parts that we have in other like songs.
Yeah, you also said Devin Townsend. That was actually
Devin Townsend is like the Devin Townsend
one.
project to be excised. Yeah, like
exactly.
Deadhead and Bastard and all that stuff. Yeah, that's quite close actually. That's probably the closest that we can get to a band that is close.
I mean, Devin Townsend is also using some weird tunings. So
yes,
that's another match.
I
right
could
there.
get a Skullet as well. That would just bring me that piece closer to happiness. Yeah. Maybe that's something we're thinking of.
But I think haunting is a good word, and also just to me monumental or epic.
Monumental.
Like
that's good.
and very emotional. I hope very emotional, definitely.
Yeah, I think that comes through for sure.
And cathartic, hopefully. Yeah.
That's a good word. I can't even fucking pronounce that, dude. Well, we'll take it. Yeah. Put that on the sales bill.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, on that note, we've been working on the 3 singles right now that later are going to be bundled up. Do you guys want to talk about how that process has been as far as writing those songs, getting them to the finish line or almost to the finish line at this point? And also, the first one is out. Stand Still was out on the 28th of March.
28th, yeah.
How has the reception been to the song? How are you guys feeling about the whole thing?
You want to start?
Yeah. I mean, this song in particular was such a really collaborative effort, and even the lyrics, like I wrote the first verse, and then I didn't really have ideas for the second verse. I went to Calvin because I know he's also a great fucking songwriter, so I was like, dude, can you help me out? And he wrote the second verse, and yeah, like the chorus was written by you basically,
Yeah.
and then the lead part was like the intro was written by me, so it was really a mix of both of us, and also our drummer Bela. I think the drum part that he plays in the beginning, it's so melodic, and so it's really almost like it's part of the riff. Really cool. Yeah, and Paul is just fucking bringing in that low end.
Is that fucking fat ass string, dude.
Fat ass string.
Oh man, that kind of like boggles my mind still.
Thing, yeah. That's insane.
Yeah.
I'll put a picture on the green screen, but it's like
it's like
you can build a bridge out of that low string.
Yeah, I mean it's a low A string. Yeah,
it's really low. Yeah,
but yeah, so I think this song in particular was such a band effort, which was really nice, and I really felt that in the studio we had a very similar creative vision, so it was surprising for me how smooth and amazing it went, just the whole process of recording the song.
I can only very much agree. Like what I wanted to jump on that actually, you saying that this has been a very creative process in the studio as well. So I mean, you've had such a big part in either like literally contributing to our music by, for example, Stand Still has that great synthesizer melody in the guitar solo part, the interlude. Yeah. And that is something that you were envisioning originally for, like, I think the intro, right?
Yeah, like it came out as an alternative line for the intro, but...
Right, so it was just like an alternative line for the intro, and initially that guitar part was actually just the synth and the guitar just playing like chords underneath, right? So there was never like a lead guitar planned for this song. And that also happened just because I heard that part, and then... No, I wrote the arpeggio part because I was like, okay, let's do something different than just the synth in the chorus. And then we didn't have the synth and the arpeggio have a very different rhythmic and timing, so it sounds kind of dodgy and it just like layers over each other. And then you said, oh, I have this riff that I wrote for the intro, and we chose exactly that melody. I mean, we pimped it slightly, but just
fits it really well.
Yeah, it's been literally like having another person in the band who knows his shit with like all the engineering stuff, but is also just a musician and honestly a great friend. By the time we've been here now, and I mean, yeah, everyone in the band is super stoked to the way that this has worked out, and the reception of the song has been very good as well. I mean, we're still starting out, so we're in the Berlin scene officially. We played our debut last year on October 19th, exactly 1 year after we met the first time. On the exact same day, 1 year later, we played our gig, which was
kinda cool.
that was actually our goal back then. We were like, okay, first year where we are together, we're gonna play one gig at least. And we fucking nailed that, dude. And now we're recording new music. So we've been on track all of this time with the project. But yeah, this studio process has just like it's shaped the songs into what we've envisioned them in our head, and it got parts of us that we didn't envision for those songs. And everyone in the band, also Bela, you know, he's got like a lot of my friends who listen to the music, who listen to a lot of metal and all that stuff, and know all the drumming grades. Everyone has commented about the drums. Everyone said, who wrote those fucking drums? I was like, yeah, my guy Bela, dude. Like he's just one of the most talented musicians that I've worked with in my musical career so far. Absolute great drummer and just a great guy and all.
Yeah, he's insane. Like the first time I went to the rehearsal with you guys and he was playing, I was like, oh shit. That's,
after that, you feel like there's fucking
crazy
dynamite in the room, dude. Yeah, he's
because also in the verse of Stand Still, there's a lot of space. It's a really slow melodic verse. Almost when we didn't have the drum fills, and I felt like it's a little bit long and boring.
Yeah.
And I told Bela, hey, there's a lot of space here to play around, and the drums is what makes it fun, I think, now.
Very true, yeah. And then also, you know, it was like the way that the song came to be. So we had the music and everything, and we had the idea of doing 3 songs, which we only finalized 2 weeks before we started in the studio as well. We're like still debating about what songs we were definitely going to do. And then we went for, let's do Serene as well. It's Torture, which is one of our newest, like, this is the freshest song that we've written. And this is going to come out as the next one. This song is going to be baller. And that song, for example, that wasn't even done yet when we came into the studio, basically. And
that was, for me, like, we were at the rehearsal that day. You guys played the song, and I was like, dude, we need to do this one. This is fucking sick.
And we did. It was totally the right call, you know. But to the point where we were like, I think it was like 3 weeks out, 4 weeks out to Standstill release. We like the guy that we were talking to in regards of artwork. He got back to us and was like, yeah, I can't deliver this artwork, this unique artwork that you guys want for the time that you need it, so to the deadline. So we had the luck of meeting Tamiris. And so this has like been an even bigger collaborative process, and we brainstormed with Tamiris together, and we had great fucking ideas, and she's bringing whatever gunk we have in our head, she's bringing that onto life. So the artwork for Standstill
is incredible.
Is absolutely incredible. Everyone's really, really happy with that. We're absolutely in love with it. And
I think it fits the song
so
well.
I literally cannot think of anything else that we could have chosen for that. And I'm looking forward to the other covers as well.
Very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the next song, so I'm very much into writing these heavy melodic kind of slow headbanging stuff, but it's fun to play those live, but at some point you need to fucking speed up the tempo for the crowd. And the next song is a little bit of that. Our drummer Bela, he comes from the punk scene, so for him it was actually, especially in the beginning, for him it was a bit of a challenge to slow down a little bit for our BPM. And I mean, now he's amazing at it. But
have you ever had a drummer tell you, like, you guys are playing too slow, I can't do this? Usually it's like, oh, this is too fast, I have to fucking practice. Feels like this shit is too slow, dude.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, he comes from the punk scene, and he really wanted at least one song where he can just go fast, and so the next song is gonna be that.
Yeah,
it packs a punch for sure.
It does.
And also with all the little details that he wanted to have in there, and he just brought so much detail to all the parts. There's always like something different happening here and there.
That's what I love about working together with Bela and just like jamming with him and writing songs, is he really, like, some drummers can write like crazy shit, you know, but he knows exactly what to write with the guitar in mind, with the singing in mind, with the bass drum and with the bass in mind. It's like, it's not, I'm the drummer, I know how to do shit, and I'm just going to do a bunch of crazy fucking crap, you know, to seem cool. It's more of like, really like, how can I serve the song to its best extent? And that is an insane skill that Bela has, I really have to say.
Yeah, and also like, just his style of drumming is just so heavy. Like I wouldn't want to be the snare That's how I feel when he plays.
He
Like,
really
he just
abuses his drums,
fucking
dude. Yeah,
abuses the drum, and
kind
he's
of
also a
watching
pretty
as well.
big guy, and you know.
Yeah.
How you that's not the only way to do it, man.
Right? Yeah. I mean, he goes through like 3 or 4 pairs of sticks at like each rehearsal, basically. But yeah, no, it's the way we wanted it. We wanted someone to hit hard, and he brings it home, dude.
And we need it for this type of music.
Yeah,
Cool.
for sure.
Well, speaking of playing in general, you guys did your first show a year after, and now you have a show that's currently booked for May.
Yes, sir.
May 31.
You guys want?
Cassiopeia.
Yes, so we're playing at Spring Bash 2025, which is an event. It's been in Berlin for a while, and it's basically a day festival with. So it's on the 31st of May. We're going to be 10 bands playing in total on 2 stages, and the tickets are about $25, so it's pretty obtainable. I mean, there's 10 bands playing, so 10 bands for €25, that's pretty good.
That's it.
And yeah, we're playing Cassiopeia, so it's right at
link in our bio.
Ticket links are in our bio. What else do I have to say? Yeah, it's so the Thursday before that is Men Attack for anybody who fires that. So yeah, don't get boozed up too bad because you're gonna have to head out on Saturday to watch our gig. And yeah, that's literally a show that we got booked for the first show by someone that I met, who's called Alvaro from Talk Booking. I'm sure you know him. And I met him because I was watching one of my friends' bands play at SBH contest. They're called In Your Veins. Shout out to you guys. And I went in with a guitar player, and then Alvaro just came up to me. He's like, "You're a musician too. You look like a musician." I'm like, "Yeah, I play music." What band are you playing? You know, and he chatted me up, and I was like, "Yeah, okay. Like, I don't know who the hell this guy is." And we just, we exchanged contacts, and we talked on Instagram, and that's how he got these shows booked. And it was funny, actually. I was buying some tickets at a concert ticket shop in Berlin. I know not a lot of people do that, but I like to go into stores, actually. And I was talking to those guys, and they're like, "Oh, you're playing that event? Like, how did you get booked for that? Like, you're just playing your second show." And the only thing that I told them, like, I don't know. We're just either we know the right people or we're playing the right music. But no, we're super psyched for that. And yeah, we're hoping that that's going to kick us off in Berlin here with 3 great releases.
Yeah, and there's lots of really cool bands also in the lineup for that.
There's very cool bands there. You should check them out because it's not just one. It's not just one fits all. There's a lot of cool different bands coming. There are a lot of very new bands as well that are just new to the scene. Yeah. So it's not just resident bands in Berlin. It's also bands from further away. So it's definitely worth popping your head in.
Cool. And as far as releases, just to bring back a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, Standstill is out. What are we looking at as far as release dates for the next 2 songs?
Yeah.
Like, which one is going to be released during the show?
The next song that is coming out, when is this getting posted?
Next week.
Okay, so no. So in 3 weeks' time, I'll say. No, we're looking to release 1 song each at the end of the month. So we release Standstill on the 28th, and the next one will be April something. The last Friday of April, basically, is what we're looking at. And then the last song, which will be Serene, will be released. I'm not quite sure if we want to do it on the gig day or if we're going to release it before or after.
Maybe one day before or something, so that people can at least give it one listen before the
Probably
show.
a little release party.
Yes, sir. We're putting out 1 song each month. First one's out already, so be sure to check out the other ones. And like and follow and do all that kind of Instagram.
That's the plan for now.
Sweet. Well, I'll have all the links set on all the pages so people can check you out. And I definitely recommend you do so because they are awesome. The songs are great.
Yeah, listen to this guy.
And we're talking about the whole studio experience, but it's been such a pleasure it's so easy to work with you guys because everything is so good and it just kind of
really
goes smoothly.
We can only second them, and the whole band has been very, very happy with the process so far. And everyone's had their doubts because we put a lot of money into this band already before even having like a gig booked for this year. And we're like, not that we were doubting your skills, but we were like doubting, okay, are we like, should we maybe like run a little slower and take things a bit more easy? But we're like, no, fuck this shit. Like we got on this train, we're going at full speed, and we're not stopping till we hit a wall. So. It's been absolute blast working with you because everyone in the band's been like, yeah, I was really scared I'm not going to make it in like a 4-hour session, but at some point in time, like when we were recording together, dude, we were so locked in. Like, how long did we take for Serene? That didn't take long.
So that was like
And we
an
nearly
hour
went
tops
took
for
that
all the
whole
guitars.
song. Yeah,
it was
that-
like super
Yeah,
quick.
so yeah, we're definitely coming back 100%.
Oh, sweet.
And I've already sold you to a lot of friends. A lot of friends that I've talked to, they're like, "Oh, who mixed Stanza?" I was like, "Yeah, you know that guy." So you might.
Well,
get
I
some calls,
appreciate
dude.
that.
Anytime, man.
Cool.
Very much
Well,
earned.
it was amazing to have you guys. I mean, we've been hanging out, and that's one thing that's gonna suck is like after the whole process of like meeting every week.
Yeah,
What are we
dude.
gonna do on Saturdays?
Yeah,
I'm gonna go through like a cool
man.
turkey on my Saturday. Dude. I'm gonna
So
have
it's
like
gonna-
8 pots of coffee, dude. I need to get my fix somewhere else. Yeah. Maybe start like a book club or something.
Well, I mean, we'll still hang out for sure,
Oh,
a
yeah,
whole bunch,
100%,
because
man.
it's that. I think that's like above everything else is just it's been so fun to hang out with you guys because you guys are just great. So in the end, is we became friends, and
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
if not hanging out for recording or anything, we'll
Hang out for margaritas, dude.
hell yeah.
But we're
Sick.
definitely coming back.
100%.
Definitely coming
Sweet.
back.
All right, cool guys. Thanks again.
See you all
Yeah.
on stage.
Cheers.
31st of May,
Yeah.
bitch.
See you.
Cheers.
You didn't talk about the baritons.
Fuck.
Put the camera back on.
We forgot to talk about the
The
baritones,
most important thing, dude.
right? If-
Not enough of this interview was
Wait.
about guitar gear.
Can you grab that thing?
Yeah, can you grab the board? This is that is the most important piece of gear in this whole studio.
There you go.
So yeah, I'll walk you through this. So this, as you can see, this is where we're at right now.
Come a little closer here.
Yeah, you need this here.
that's
around
all
here.
right.
Is that fine?
Yeah, it's okay.
I'll put it here. So as you can see, Stencil is completely done and it's released anyways already. We've got Torture done. It doesn't have any synths. That's one thing that Torture has that the other songs don't have, or that he doesn't have and the other songs have, whatever. And yes, Serene, we're doing synths this Saturday, right? And then SFX, we'll see what we have to do. We'll probably get it done this Saturday as well. Anyway, this board holds very vital information for the production of this music. As you can see, this is encrypted hieroglyphs from the times of the Bahadurian rulership here at Nooketown Studios. So basically, what this is telling us is which song was this for? This
That's
was
for Torture. That's the
That's a bridge for Torture.
the
breakdown.
breakdown. Yeah.
Right. So the breakdown has a variation of it's basically the same riff, but it has like the ending of that riff is always a bit different, and it's got four variations to it. And I had troubling memorizing that because when you're in the studio, you prepare for what you wrote, right? And then you get into the studio, and of course, I'm skilled of a musician enough to learn new parts and play them, but it has to get into your head. And it took me like 500 takes, and I still couldn't get it down. So Fabio and I figured we'll write it down, and we'll write it down in guitarist language. So so we had this 1 2 3 1 2 3 riff, and then it's a scratch, it's a sugar pinch. Any guitar player will know exactly what I'm talking about. Then it's a double scratch, and then it's sugar squared, which is pretty straightforward. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the official tab or the official music notes for our song Torture. If you need anything more than that, then you're not skilled enough to play our music.
And then of course, don't
jokes
be a
aside.
douche. Buy a baritone.
Buy a
That's
yeah.
like
People buy
the
baritones,
phrase of
seriously,
the the
It's-
semester.
And that is because the last song that we're gonna release from the EP, Serene,
Oh,
is
yeah.
in drop fucking G.
Yeah,
Almost
so
Z.
Chris decided that our tuning is not fucked up enough, so he just went a bit more baller, and tuned it down to a G basically, the low string, which made it more and more hard for me to play all that on one guitar because we've got one song that's in drop D, Ashes, then we've got the song in drop B, and drop C, and drop A, and drop G. So we've got the whole fucking alphabet on the low E string, and it's
yeah.
quite hard to do.
Yeah.
So for anything lower than an A, I have obtained a baritone guitar.
And it sounds
because
great.
I'm not a douche, because it says
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
So obviously, and it sounds sick, and
Sounds
it's made such an impact.
I mean, that
on the
literally,
songs.
I'd say that made the song. To be
Yeah.
honest, like the way the
100% it
guitar
has.
sounds is really sick.
It does, and also that is something like I had the intention of not keeping that guitar.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, but you know how that works.
And funny enough, I showed Alex today the song, and like
Yeah.
his immediate reaction was like, "Dude, this sounds like Deftones.
Yeah.
This is fucked up."
Deftones is actually
And
good.
Deftones uses baritones.
I don't know what they're using, but just like
I
the
think so,
tone
actually,
of
yes.
it had like there was a particular song I can show you guys later.
Yeah.
That came to his mind, and we heard it, and it was like, yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
If it gives that impression and it's not even done yet, we're good.
It is, dude. I mean, those guitars were sounding sick even before we were tracking, right? It's just, yeah, it's weird it's hard to play that big of a scale, but especially with our weird freaking chords.
Oh yeah, imagine playing Torture on that.
Yeah, that's not gonna work out. It's gonna be tough.
All right, guys. Again, thank you.
Yeah, no worries, man.
And yeah, don't be a
All right,
douche
man.
by a baritone.
Don't be pushed by a baritone.
That's